Frank Goodman is my name, from Ballingarry, Carrickmacross, County Monaghan. We have a family farm here. I run in conjunction with my son, who works part-time and part-time on the farm with me as well. We milk 120 cows, all spring calving. We changed to zero grazing about 2.5 years ago to 3 years ago. We had a lot of trouble walking cows on the road. It took 2 people and a good dog to move them, and it took over an hour a day between morning and evening. So we tried a contractor in first with the zero grazing, and it worked really well for us, and we could see the benefits with milk yields and solids on the cows. Plus the cows were a lot happier and more content in themselves. We got in contact with Jim Barron, Grass Tech, and we made the purchase and have never looked back since.
So we purchased a GT120 from Grass Tech. The GT120 was recommended that it could feed 120 cows per day, which suits us perfectly. The good mower, it's a 7-foot drum mower, and it seems to clean the ground fairly good, cutting, and it seems to be fairly robust as well. We went for the 620 low profile tyres, which help us to float along sort of wetter fields, and it still holds well on coming across side of hills as well. With the Zero Grazer we can optimise grass with cows better. Even in wet weather, with cows wouldn't clean out paddocks, you would have to top that paddock no matter what was left on it, and which results in waste, whereas the Zero Grazer is literally zero waste.
Initially it was a big outlay, but when we done the sums up, it more than amply paid for itself back within 2 years. Really no maintenance on it, just you grease it and change the oil in it or whatever, and we hadn't put a spanner to it or anything, and it's out every day. Some days it does have to take 2 loads in, but most days it's 1 load, so it is probably about 700 or 800 loads in at the moment. It is getting more common, the Zero Grazer. Herds are getting bigger, and I suppose with a lot of farms in Ireland, they're quite fragmented, and using the roads, a lot of traffic on the roads, herds have got a lot bigger, and manpower as well then is hard to get for moving cows on the road. So that was the reason we went for the Zero Grazer in the beginning, and it really changed our life for us. Before the Zero Grazer, we were feeding, at the shoals of the year, we were feeding in silage and a lot more meal. And when the Zero Grazer come, there's no silage goes in whatsoever. Even last week that's gone by, it was a wet week, we had grass in the whole time. No extra meal. Meal has come back to, they're on 3.5 kilos a day at the moment, and they were on 5 before the Zero Grazer. Big saving on meal, big saving on feed. There's absolutely no waste with the Zero Grazer. It cleans the ground out the same every time, and you can go different tracks or whatever, up and down or around about it. It's still a lovely clean field the whole time. You can see from each day the growth rate that comes with it, but it cleans it out much better than what the cows can, especially in harder weather like last week as such we had with wetter weather. The Zero Grazer goes out, does no damage compared to what a herd of cows would do.
We've also purchased a slurry tanker last year as well. On the tanker there was 800mm tyres, just to carry that extra load. As a 2300 gallon tanker, you find it can work better on softer ground. The tanker works well with the 7.5 metre dribble bar on the back. It's our first one we've used, and so far so good. It has no issues yet.
The condition of the cows, yield of cows would have went up substantially. So cows are just over 8,000 litres at the moment. I think it's about 620 kilos of solids what they've done on last year's recordings. And they're on about 1,400 kilos of meal in total. There is some maize silage going in, but it's minimum meal for what they're yielding. The grass is doing 90% of the feed for them. On the day's fat, it only come in this morning at 4.01 butter fat, and there's a 3.34 protein. And urea is at 28, lactose is at 4.9. We generally reseed every 5 to 7 years, or maybe stitch in paddocks, which is quality grass coming in as well, and trying out different varieties. It wouldn't be suitable for everybody as such, because it's the fragmented farm is the biggest problem, and that's the reason it suits us really well. I would say definitely go and have a look at one working first, and maybe get a contractor in to try it for their cows to see how they react to it. And there's minimum set up with it. Like most places are quite suitable for the machine to come in. It's not a big machine or anything. So
after about a week of using it, you're really up to speed with using it, and it's very simple. You could send anyone out on it with a basic knowledge of how to operate machinery.
The only regret we have, we didn't do it sooner.